and snap your fingers, then you lean back. Miles out of state, on the day they never seen that. Ain't back, throw and snap your fingers, then you lean back.
Hello and welcome to Viti TV, your one and only show by and for the Fijian youth. If you'd like to be a part of the show, please let us know. I'm your host, Pranay Sharma. With summer soon approaching again, please keep an eye on the elderly as they may experience heat waves, and during the season, make sure to check up on them to make sure that they're not getting too hot, because a lot of people have passed away in the past couple of years. So I'd love for you guys all to make it past the summer, so please check up on your elders, but not only them, young children and pets as well. No show is complete without our support from our sponsors, so if you'd like to sponsor the show that we bring on a weekly basis, please call us at the numbers in our credits. We'll now take a break for a word from our sponsors. If you'd like to be a sponsor of the show, you can always call us at the number at the end of our credits.
I understand how important it is to have a place called home, and it's frustrating using your hard-earned money on rent. Vic Prasad can make you a homeowner. Get pre-approved services provided to first-time buyers and new immigrants. You can qualify for mortgage even if you have bad credit. Call Vic Prasad now on 604-306-6647. Vic Prasad is associated with Craft Mortgages Canada Incorporated.
For any kind of visa-related services, contact Milky Way Immigration, a galaxy of opportunities located at Unit 209-9547 152 Street, Surrey, BC. They have licensed immigration consultants, placement officers, and LMIA experts to meet your immigration and recruitment needs. Book one-time free consultation either on Facebook or by calling 604-396-0005. Bollywood Banquet Hall and Conference Center, located at Pile Business Center at 201-8166 128th Street in Surrey. No celebration is too small to accommodate you. They have newly renovated 2 halls to serve you, up to 1,000 guest capacity, top-notch chefs to delight you with delectable and heavenly cuisine. So just call Bollywood Banquet Hall at 604-598-2700 for your events.
Benisi Mobile Detailing Services. They offer commercial trucks, cars, SUV, boats, bikes, RVs, and much more. Just give them a call at 778-808-2859. Just give them a call at 778-808-2859, and they will do all kind of services at your home.
Thank you, sponsors. Now we have our director, Shannon Pramal. Please have a look.
Hello and welcome back to Viti TV. I'm your director and host, Shannon Pramal, and thanks for sticking around with us yet another week. You can watch all new episodes of Viti Vibes every Thursday at 10 p.m. on the Shaw Multicultural channel or on Sundays at 4:30 p.m. If you missed our shows on TV, you could also be sure to check us out on YouTube. All episodes are uploaded there after they've been broadcasted. And if you want any behind-the-scenes content or future guest reveals, you can also check us out on our Instagram and Facebook page. That's at Viti Vibes TV. That being said, today I'm in the studio with my lovely co-host, Tasha Chan.
Hello.
So, hi Tasha. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. Always a great time when you're around. Good vibes only. I mean, I love being here, but you just make it so much more entertaining.
Oh my God, that's so sweet.
So today, Tasha and I are in the studio. We don't necessarily have a topic, but today's a little bit more like a big sister advice theme, because we are professional big sisters.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, and off the record, me and Tasha were like, yeah, we have like siblings to prove it.
Yay.
I know in the past we've done episodes about older sibling syndrome and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Today we're giving a little bit more advice.
Yeah.
I feel like being the older sibling, we have like a lot. I don't know, maybe it's just like that whole like mentality, we know more.
Maybe we're just full of ourselves.
Maybe. Who knows? Whatever. It's okay. But I feel like there's certain things out of being an older sibling that you get, like, it's just a whole different experience.
You just have more wisdom. I don't want to say we have more.
Not that we have wisdom, but we have wisdom.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. I hope my brother doesn't come at me for this.
I know. I feel like it's just the fact that we've lived a couple years longer than our siblings. That it's just like, okay, we know what we're doing. And just listen to us.
Yeah, and I just feel like correlating back to that episode that you mentioned, like, I think just because when you're innately just put into that role, kind of, like, you just develop these skills and develop, like, those, like, you develop a more, like, gut feelings and intuitions and this and that, like, just naturally, like, it just happens.
No, and we were talking about that because it's an actual thing. Like, older siblings have different set of, like, certain set of characteristics that they end up developing, right?
Yeah.
They usually like younger, not to say that they can't
Yeah,
develop
they
those, but
can't,
like we just
yeah.
have like
Yeah.
a different set of skills and characteristics that we develop over the years.
Yeah, that
Just
shape your
purely out of
personality.
having a sibling.
Yes, literally. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you to our siblings.
Yes, yeah, shout out to you guys. But today, me and Tasha, we're offering our big sister advice. Feel free to take it if you want.
Yeah. It's
Obvious-
unsolicited. It's
Yeah.
completely unsolicited.
No, absolutely. But hopefully it's like
Yeah,
maybe
I
someone
hope
finds
so.
it useful.
Yeah, I
But yeah, we're gonna start off maybe because there's so many ways we can go out of this. But let's start off with the fighting for your freedom.
Yeah.
Right? Because I feel
Yeah.
like, and you were mentioning this too off the record, that like being one in a brown household, being in a Fijian household, and then being an eldest daughter of the family, right, kind of thing, because that's what me and you
Yeah.
both are.
Yeah.
It comes with a certain set of like
You want to do
experience and like
you want to explore. Like,
Yeah.
You know, you're put in a westernized society, but you know your parents weren't brought up that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're trying to find this like balance all the time of like, and a lot of people like there's a lot of like even just like research and a lot of articles and stuff written about this of the kind of like almost like identity crisis, right?
Oh, yeah.
Where you're like. I identify with, you know, being Canadian because technically we're born in Canada, so it's
Yeah.
like you're Canadian, right? So it's like technically we identify with being Canadian, but we also identify with being like Fijian. And you know, when you live in a household where you're constantly surrounded by the culture and whether that be language, food, history, all that type of stuff, right? You're kind of like, oh, I want to be like this, but then you feel like, oh, but I can't be like this because I feel like my culture, it's like I'm kind of supposed to be like this. But I think one thing that I learned now at the age that I am now versus like 10 years ago, I feel like you can be both. You can 100% be both.
Yeah.
I just think when you're, you know, in your teens or like pre-teens or even like young adult, like early 20s, it may feel like you can't because you're kind of constantly struggling either with maybe like your guardian or like a parental figure that you're trying to like always negotiate with or fight with or trying to like, you know what I mean? I feel like in that moment you feel like you're stuck. And you can't like figure out which one you fit into, but I think maybe you can attest to that too. That like now that we're older, like you can definitely like find a balance and you can cater to both.
I know.
Yeah.
I know definitely when I was like 16, it was like this ongoing battle of like, Mom, but like all my friends are like doing this and that. Because like obviously we're in a Canadian society, right? And like there's just so much more freedom attached to being in this sort of society, right? And it's that's just the norm, right? Versus like our parents, like back home, they all they were taught to do was just like school, work, and like whatever family, like that's just it, right?
It just seemed like they lived a very more quote unquote like innocent lifestyle in the sense of like I don't know, because obviously I wasn't there in that time period, but like it's like here, and especially when the time period that we grew up in, it's like, you know, there are influences of drugs and sex and all that type of stuff while you're very young. And so parents, I feel like from that generation and from Fiji feel like they need to protect you from all that
100%.
because they also, it's for them,
And rightfully so.
Yeah, no, 100%, and rightfully so. Like you're their child, like, you know, you're their child. And also like I think a lot of people maybe don't realize that like when our parents move to a country, it's a whole lot of unknown. It's a whole lot of fears because think about it. We literally get so much anxiety and fear over like little small things that are unknown to us.
Yeah.
Imagine like moving to a whole country where the whole like culture and society is completely different from what you know, and so you feel like you're doing the best job as a parent, trying to raise your child with, you know, your cultural values and all that type of stuff. But sometimes I think in that moment, obviously, you're trying to do the best for your kid, but, you know, you don't kind of realize that, like, ooh, this may be doing a bit more harm than good sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%. I could totally attest to that for sure.
Phones. I was going to bring that up.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Phone's a big thing.
Oh, don't even get me started. Okay, you start.
Okay. Like, everyone... Okay, so I was born in 97, right?
Okay.
So when I was in grade 6... That's when everybody started getting phones, like grade 6. Okay, not everybody, but that's when a few people started getting phones, right? So I would say majority. So I think majority of people in my school, in my high school, started getting phones around grade 8, 9. That was like majority of people.
Yeah,
right?
and I could say the same thing too. Like by grade 8, like even though like more so the people in grade 6, they needed it. because
Right.
like
Or
their
I feel
parents.
like the popular kids had it.
That too. Yeah, different reasons, but whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like that transition between elementary school to high school, once you
Yeah.
hit high school, it's like, okay, now you need phones
Now
or
you
whatever,
need
right?
phones,
Because you're going
yeah.
to be whatever.
Yeah, for whatever reasons, the parents
Yeah.
thought that the kids needed a phone in early grade 8, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. That's a personal choice. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not attacking nobody. That's a personal choice. But yeah, so, oh my God, I remember it was such a struggle for me to get a cell phone. Forgetting about a cell phone, even, you know the iPod Touch? Oh my God, the iPod Touch. Like, I remember being like, oh my God, no, like, and at least, like, I need the iPod Touch. I can get the iPod Touch. And, like, for my parents specifically, it was just, like, the concern of, like, oh my God, like, message, like, having the, like, ability to, like, message people and them, like, not knowing, like, what's going on type of thing. And so, finally, though, I don't know how I did this, but somehow I was able to, like, convince my parents, like, okay, I need a phone. So grade 11, like mid-grade 11-ish, whatever, I got my first phone. It was my dad's old iPhone 4, I believe. Yeah, it was grade 11. But, so then here's the thing. My brother, who's a year younger than me in grade 10, was able to get a phone at the same time, whereas I, a year before, if I was in this position and I asked for a phone, oh my God. Oh, hell
no, I could totally relate to that, but I'd say grade 11 is quite late, though.
Oh, yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I was so out of touch. No, I was so out of touch. You guys have no idea. I was like, I didn't know. I didn't have social media until first year university.
That's wild.
Yeah.
No, and these kids out here just like
Yeah.
straight out of like elementary school,
Yeah.
just like full out TikTok stars.
No, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I know that I was very late to the game.
Yeah.
And I like tell my parents all the time, like, yo, you guys need to make that up for me, because I was so like, I wasn't like sheltered per se, but like with some people when they hear this, they can be like, oh my God, girl, you're probably like a little sheltered.
Yeah.
And so that's what it felt like. Like, and so relating back to the topic that we're like talking about, like, I just felt like, I'm like, oh my God, like, why can't I? Everyone has a phone. Like, what's the big deal? Why can't I have a phone? Like, let me have a phone. It's not that big of a deal, right? Whereas for my parents, like, you know, again, they come from a country where it's like when they were in grade 11, they didn't have no phone. Like, but again, it's like, it's all about context, right? It's like, but they're also not like seeing that, like, we're in a different time period, we're in a different country, like, things are different, like, maybe I do need this for, like, safety, right? Yeah. And to talk to my friends, but, like, maybe I do need this for safety, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of, it's, honestly, but I just remember, I think it's all about, like, it was just kind of like, okay, I think whether you're in grade 11, whether you're in grade 8, like, whatever it is, I think it's just more about, like, honestly, having a good relationship with your parents first, I think really helped a lot. Having a good relationship, and then also, because you have a good relationship, you're able to have, like...
other things,
You're able to have decent, calm conversations and effective conversations with them about, like, hey, listen, you know, like, this is why I feel like I want this or I need this, and it's not like, oh, I'm gonna be irresponsible with it or use it for wrong reasons or whatever that may be. That may be going to a party, that may be getting a phone or whatever it is. But I think, sometimes if you're in a household where it's that kind of dynamic, then it's important that you have a good relationship with them and that you're able to convey why you want something and all that type of stuff. And, so they're able to understand more. Because I do think that majority of the times, I can't speak for everybody, but I do think that majority of the times why parents say no, especially when we're teenagers and we're in high school, is because they're scared of the unknown, right? Like, they don't know. And so they're scared of it. So it's like, that's why I'm saying of the whole, like, if you're able to make them understand, then you have a higher chance of kind of finding that balance.
Yeah. No, totally agree with you over there. I think my big sister advice, moving on to another thing.
Wait, going out. I'm so sorry. When did you get a cell phone?
I got it in grade 8. But, okay, listen to this, though.
No way.
No, but listen to this. Because I was doing a lot of, like, after-school activities. So it's like... Like, I'd be coming home late, that kind of thing. But I had, like, one of those, like, slide phones, the full keyboard. Like, one of those.
I wanted that so bad.
Okay, so I had that. I had a BlackBerry.
Oh my God, I wanted a BlackBerry.
Yeah, I got it in grade 10. I think after I switched out the flip phone.
Yeah.
But, like, the thing is, I got my phone in grade 8. But my sister's first phone was just a straight up iPhone.
Right.
It's like, what's that? Like, you could call us equal, but there's no right
No,
of passage.
it's like I walk so you can run.
No, and that's literally it. Older
Yeah.
siblings
Yeah.
have to do that for their
Right,
younger
right.
siblings, like, and it's just like whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I guess at this point, because like
I'm
whatever.
so sorry I cut you off.
No, it's fine. But yeah, no, I got my phone when I was in grade 8. But
Yeah.
no, but my sister got all the nicer phones way before me.
Right,
like even
right.
till this day, she has a
Right,
nicer
nice
phone than
phone.
I do.
My brother also has a nicer phone than I do right now.
Whatevs.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Not salty at all.
Yeah.
My big sister advice. So this thing is revolving around going out with your friends.
Yeah.
This is not an easy thing to
This
do.
is not
and I
for the
know-
weak.
Especially,
Not for the weak.
especially as a girl too, because
Oh.
being a guy, we can't speak on that.
Right,
That's a
we
different
can't.
situation.
Yeah.
But being a girl
Yeah.
and first generation, obviously here,
100%.
gaining that freedom to go out.
To
Me,
go
I
clubbing.
go somewhere, even at like the mall.
Movies.
Movies,
Yeah.
malls.
Yeah.
Hanging out at your
Hanging
friend's
out.
house.
Yeah.
Don't even think about sleeping over. Just
Oh,
hanging out.
Yeah.
Sleepovers, I
yeah,
still like.
Yeah.
I
So,
just started like yesterday. I'm joking.
Yeah.
But no, it's an actual like thing where like
Yeah.
and again, like it relates back to that whole thing of like your parents don't know where you are, blah blah blah, right? They're just scared of like your well being, right?
Right.
Rightfully so. However, it comes back down to the thing of like you need to play the game.
Yeah,
And here's the thing.
yeah.
My advice would be to, especially when you're like in your teen years,
Mm-hmm.
obviously like you are trying to gain all the trust in the world, and you're like that's a very sensitive time, both for yourself
Very
and for your
critical.
parents.
Very critical.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like a make or break. If you start being a wild child then,
Yeah.
then good luck
Yeah.
figuring it out later.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Your parents are not going to let you do anything kind of thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So my big sister advice is like, if you are allowed, like when you finally can convince your parents, like, okay, here, you need to let them know, one, where you are, what you're doing. You have to answer all those dumb questions, and
Yeah.
you might feel like you're getting pestered, whatever.
Right.
But it's just so your parents can get that peace of mind
Yeah.
that you are going to be safe.
Yeah.
You know if there's an emergency to arise, what you need to do, and you're not going to just do something you're going to regret or be embarrassed about later, right?
Right.
Just eliminating all the bad possibilities
Yeah.
and being able to just like, like we know where you are and all that,
Right.
whatever. So yes, it is a little bit of a headache.
Yeah.
But I feel like that is just what you need to do. It's funny because I had to do all that, but my sister, she just left the house. And it's just like, no problem, she's gone. She went right over here.
And to shed a bit of more light on that, I feel like, or maybe we're a bit more understanding of it, because I don't know if you've ever felt like this, but even I till this day, literally 2 days ago, I felt like this
Yeah.
with my brother. Like, as an older sibling, like, I feel like that sometimes you feel like you're the parent, so sometimes
Oh.
you're like, so you do get worried. Like,
Yeah.
say if they go out, like, just literally 2 days ago, I was like, it's been so long.
Yeah.
He hasn't like texted me. Like I'm like what like I
Yeah.
got worried, right? So I like texted him like, hey, like where are you?
Yeah.
Like when do you think you're gonna come
Yeah.
back home? Like
I do that
and-
too, guilty.
Yeah, but like, and so I feel like because I have that role, I've been in that role, I can kind of better understand where my parents come from sometimes, because I'm like, okay, I'm not even a parent, but
Yeah.
even just for my sibling, like
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, are
Yeah.
you okay? Like I get worried.
Yeah,
Like you know
I
what
feel
mean?
like I've gotten into that role maybe later on.
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
because with age too, you just kind of like understand a lot more, and you're like your like we have that kind of like understanding of our parents better.
Yeah.
But I feel like definitely during like
Oh.
our like mid-teens, like I've
Yes.
always had to have like
Yes.
that like butting heads.
Oh, 100%.
And I was just like, why don't they get it? Blah blah blah.
When you're in your teens, like, you don't understand why your parents are doing what they're doing, or why your parents
Yeah.
are saying what they're saying. 100%,
Yeah.
yeah.
And vice versa too, right?
Oh,
like they don't
100%.
understand like why you want to go out so bad. right?
Yeah.
It's not even so much about like, oh, I'm gonna like do something bad or anything like
Yeah.
that. It's just like literally I just need to get out of the house.
Yeah.
Right?
Like-
I just want to go hang out with my one friend that I have, right? Like
Yeah, or
That's
like, they
all
don't
it
understand,
is.
like, why do you want to go to the mall by yourself all of a sudden? Why do
Right?
you want to do things with your friends all of it? Like,
Right?
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, yeah, sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, no, so like definitely if your parents give you curfews, abide by those curfews.
Yes.
And that's
a
how
little
you're
bit, and
yeah
then
for
you- and
yeah,
then- and
and
then you
then
can-
slowly try and like compromise
Yeah.
later, right? But and usually I don't know if you've ever done this where it's like okay, someone would ask you to go hang out one day, right?
Right.
And then they'll ask you for another day, but you're like, wait, no, I asked already like for about yesterday, so I can't. So I'm gonna leave like a week gap, 2 weeks gap.
Dude, I still think like that sometimes, okay? Where I'm like, I just went out and had fun yesterday, though. Can I?
You have to schedule it,
yeah,
right?
like, should I really be going out? I mean, I do, and like, you know, whatever. But like, no, you sometimes feel like that. You're like, oh my god, I've been having too much fun.
And then obviously when you're older, it's like okay, right? Because then it's just like
Yeah,
you're doing your
yeah.
own thing, you make your
Yeah.
own money, whatever. And
Yeah.
that's kind of just out of the question. But
Yeah.
when you're younger,
No,
for
100%,
sure, like
100%.
you have to be super strategic.
Yeah, you have to be very strategic. You have to plan things out. You have to be like, okay, so if I ask my parents for this, can I? Let me like schedule it like a
Right?
week after.
Like you gotta put in work.
Yeah,
and that's
no,
the thing.
100%.
And with putting in work,
Yeah.
one other thing that I could probably say as some advice is definitely your education. Do not neglect your education.
Yeah.
And it's that whole concept of like your parents are like, we came to this country so you could have a better life, you could
Right.
get more educated than us, you can get a better job than us, and
Right.
have your own like
Yeah.
stand on your own 2 feet
Yeah,
faster than we could, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just that whole thing. And I think, and even in my personal experience, my mom, without like a broken record, always like, school class karke, just done. I'll be happy, right?
Yeah.
Just find a job and
Yeah.
done. Just
Yeah.
as long as you finish school, right?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I just need. And literally, I swear to God, the second I finished school, graduated school, it was done.
Yeah.
Like all
Yeah.
that butting heads and all that, like, oh, where are you going? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like I finished school, got my job, and it's just like,
Yeah.
now what,
Right.
right?
Now it seems like okay, you're an adult now.
Yeah, right? And, like-
not when you're 18.
Yeah.
When you graduate.
Oh no,
Yeah,
110%.
yeah.
When you graduate like university, I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
obviously different families have other like different
Oh,
dynamics, but
yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
talking from like my personal experience. But definitely do not neglect your education,
Yeah.
even if you do not choose to go to post-secondary per
Yeah,
se.
yeah.
But if you are just doing your part in like looking for a good job or like what you want to do with your life, just kind of like setting your goals
Show
and
that you have some drive and you have some direction in life.
exactly, as long as you have like some goals to achieve,
Yeah.
whether that be like, okay, maybe I want to start my own business, whatever, right?
Right.
Even if you're not going to choose to go to school, okay, what does it take to start your business? What are you
Right,
doing, right?
right.
And that sort of thing. As long as they can see that
Yeah.
you're doing something,
Yeah.
that like hopefully it's enough. But
Yeah.
obviously every situation has like their own
Right.
like
There's
set
so
of,
many. Everything that we're saying, there's so many like other variables and caveats to it. This is
Yeah.
just a very like
blanket statement.
blanket
yeah.
stereotypical more so type of situations that we're like talking about. Yeah. But every
know.
family is different, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so like to that, I think parents in a way also I think this goes for even just every parent of every race and culture, right? Where like, you know, imagine like if you're a parent like and your kid is not doing so well, you would feel like you failed as a parent too. Like they don't sometimes even acknowledge it or maybe recognize it themselves, but it does make them feel like that. Like if their kid, and I think maybe that's why they like sometimes maybe lash out, especially when you're like a teenager in high
Yeah.
school, right? Because they want you to do so well,
Yeah.
and they feel like if you don't or if you get in trouble or like whatever, like that's a bad look on, like they feel like they failed,
Yeah.
so they take that out on you.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So sometimes we feel so frustrated because they're taking all that out, even though it's like you're bound to make mistakes. You should make mistakes, right?
Yeah.
Especially
That's
when
where
you're in
the
your young
learning
teens.
happens.
Yes, 100%. You should make mistakes so you know what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
Because personally, I feel like if you're just you can learn from others, but you yourself, if you're the one to make the mistake, you know how that felt.
Yeah.
So you are more inclined to like not make that mistake
Yeah.
again. Like, you know what I mean? And so I think again, and if there's any parents watching this, like, you know, it's not a reflection of you necessarily.
Yeah.
You know, that you failed as a parent if
Yeah.
your kids make mistakes or whatever it is. Like, and the thing is, it's so weird. Sorry, I know this is kind of like off topic, but like, for me personally, as you grow older, like I've heard more stories about like my parents when they were like kids or when they were teens, and they also made a lot of mistakes.
Oh,
They also
100.
like lived their life like how children are supposed to be, and like did wild stuff or
Yeah.
like, you know, as kids, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you're but then you look at them as a parent and you're like, oh my god,
No
I would
way.
have I would have never thought that you lived this whole
Right?
life that
but that's the point, like character
Yeah.
development, right?
Yeah, no,
You have to do it, yeah.
100%. Yeah.
I think definitely like try and learn through others' mistakes.
yeah, no,
But
100%.
obviously, like you're bound to just like
yeah.
you just find yourself in situations like
Yeah.
that too, where you make your
Yeah.
own mistakes, and that's just a part of like growing
Yeah.
up, part of
Yeah.
living.
Because you don't know everything. Your parents also don't know everything. Like, nobody knows everything, right? I think at the end of the day, like, both sides are just trying to do the best that they can.
Yep.
And in the middle of doing that, like that's natural. You are gonna butt heads when you're trying to balance two cultures per se type of thing. But yeah, I think our advice just kind of at the end of the day is like, if you're in that stage with your parents right now, it's gonna get better.
Yeah,
it 100%,
110% will get better.
Yeah. So if you feel kind of like you're stuck or you're isolated or you feel like, oh my god, like I can't do anything or I can't go anywhere or I feel so, you know, like all this type of stuff, like trust me, it's gonna get better. You just have to find like a common middle ground with your parents for the time being, and like be able to also understand their point of view. Then they'll be more willing to understand your point of view as well.
Yeah, definitely. Some things come with time, some things come with age, and some things come with work, and that comes with all three. Definitely, and that's
put that on a T-shirt.
And that is our big sister advice to you. But with that being said, we've just run out of time. Thank you, Tasha, for joining me today, and hope you guys were able to, if anything, not find any advice helpful. At least be entertained.
Yeah.
But with that being said, you can catch us next week again here on the Shaw Multicultural Channel. Viti Vibes airs every Thursday at 10 p.m. and Sundays at 4:30 p.m. That being said, we'll see you all next week.
Thank you, Shannon. Remember, this is your show, and if you're a youth, we'd love to hear from you. We have a few announcements and events that you may be participating in, so please have your pens and papers ready. Cultural Union in 2023 will be taking place at the Qatari Hall in Ba, Fiji Islands on July 29th and July 30th. Get your tickets ASAP because they are running out. Go to Khalsa College Union page on Facebook for more information. Nostari Begum Festival is taking place on September 23rd at 7 p.m. at the Massey Theatre in New Westminster. For more information, please call Massey Theatre at 604-521-5050 or get tickets from ticketsnow.ca. Sadly, we ran out of time for today's show, but I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I love bringing it to you. And if you had missed our show today, you can always watch it on Sunday at 4:30 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. in Alberta. No show is complete with our support from our sponsors, so as you know, we're always looking for sponsors, and if you'd like to sponsor the show, you can always reach out to Camille Singh at 604-537-5123. Also, please don't forget to watch Fiji in Focus on Tuesdays at 10 p.m., Thursdays at 2:30 p.m., and Sundays at 4 p.m. Asian Pulse TV, Wednesdays at 2:30 p.m. and Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and also Saturdays at 5:30 p.m. as well as the Camila Singh Talk Show on Mondays at 10 a.m. and the repeats are on Sundays at 5:30 p.m. All our shows are uploaded to YouTube, so please watch, like, and definitely share. Before we wrap up things for today's show, I'll leave you guys with these thoughts. Engrave this upon my heart. This isn't anyone you couldn't love once, and you've heard their story by many. Mary Kaur Kawanchi. With that being said, hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and for now, I'm signing off.
Ain't fat, double shot your fingers, then you lean back. All out of state, 20 days, they never seen that. Ain't fat, double shot your